Alright, now this video kind of continues off my radiator removal video. I'm going to start tearing apart the front of the engine. Part of this video is going to be belts, and the fan shouldn't be that difficult. One thing I guess I should mention is I don't have the alternator belt on there. Not the alternator belt, of course I have the alternator belt on, but I don't have the AC compressor belt on, so I won't be able to show you how to remove that one, but it's pretty simple. There's just a little pulley down there. You loosen it, and then you can detension it and pull the belt off. But yeah, so let's get started. Now I'm going to start by just removing the fan and clutch assembly from the water pump. It's pretty simple. You can see the fasteners that hold it on right there. They're just 10mm nuts. So I'm going to get my wrench on there and break those loose and have this fan off here. And to keep this pulley from turning whenever I'm trying to break these nuts loose, what I'm having to do is I have my 1/2-inch ratchet with a 24mm socket on the alternator nut, and it's just wedged right here, so whenever I turn this pulley, it'll prevent the alternator from turning, and in turn keep the belt from turning so I can break this loose. Now that I have the clutch and fan removed, what I'm going to do is remove the power steering pulley belt. Now to do that, what you're going to have to do is make sure that this sight right here in the pulley is in line with this bolt right here. So you may have to get a socket on here and rotate this pulley to make sure this is in line, but you want to get that in line. You're going to break that bolt loose and then also break this one loose. And let's see, yeah, on the back side here there is a bolt to detension this. So that's what we're going to have to get on there too. And I guess at this point I might as well go ahead and remove the air intake pipes here. So again, it's going to be these fasteners here that hold these boots on, and then these fasteners down here that hold them on. I'm going to remove both sides, but go ahead and do that. Alright, now as you can see, I've rotated this pulley. This, by the way, is a 14mm nut, or not nut, but bolt behind this pulley. The pulley itself has a 19mm nut that you can use to rotate the pulley, and this right here is a 12mm on the slotted part of the adjuster. Now on the back side here, it feels like it might be a 12, it might actually be a 10, but I'm gonna say it's a 12. I'll see here in just a second, yeah, that's a 12. Alright, so on the back side of this adjuster there's a bolt that goes this direction that tightens and loosens to pull the pulley further away from the crankshaft to tighten the belt, and it is a 12mm, and you want to go ahead and loosen that so the tension gets taken off. And by loosen, it's just the exact same way, it's not backwards or anything. You turn the bolt counterclockwise to loosen the belt, because that allows the pulley to pivot closer to the crankshaft and take tension off it. So you want to go ahead and loosen that, and then after we get that off, we'll get to the alternator. And once you get this loosened enough, you can just grab the belt and pull it right off there, just like that. Now for the alternator, it's a similar thing, except the nut for the adjuster is on the back side, and it feels like a 12 also. And there's also a bolt somewhere up here, right there, I believe. Yeah, right there. And it looks like it might be a 17, maybe a 14, I'm not sure, honestly, but I'll tell you here in a second. But you need to loosen that and loosen the 12 on the back side of the adjuster here, and then do the same thing we did the power steering pulley by loosening this bolt and taking tension off the belt to remove the belt. Alright, now I have this loosened. You can see me moving the alternator now. And a side note, if you ever have to replace the alternator in 300ZX, I highly recommend you remove the radiator. You can do it without. The first time I replaced the alternator, I did it without. I put a used alternator in there. It failed. Second time I pulled the radiator and replaced this, and it was so much easier. I wasn't anywhere near as frustrated with the car because the radiator isn't a hard thing to remove. So again, if you're going to replace the alternator, remove the radiator. It's just so much easier. But this on top was in fact a 17 on this pivot bolt, and down here is a 12. Both these were 12s. So now this is loosened, and since this pulley is just kind of here, I can just grab it, pull it off there, and now we have all the belts off. And next I'm going to remove these connectors, since they're going to have to come off anyway, because this whole what is this? I believe this is, yeah, so right here, I guess you could call this assembly the thermostat housing. I'm going to go ahead and remove this connector by taking this clip here, popping that out just a little bit. Actually going to remove it all the way. Just be sure not to lose this. Pop it out of there and pull your connector off, and oh, that just broke off. Awesome. So I can probably make another connector for that, honestly, and solder one onto there. We'll see. But yeah, so that's lovely. We're gonna set this off to the side over here, and you know what, I'm actually gonna put this clip back into it so I don't lose this or get it mixed up with another clip that I may have to take off. I don't think there's really any others, but I'm gonna put it back on there just so I don't lose it. Now next are the 3 bolts that hold on this upper half, and they require an Allen head. Actually no, I should probably remove these hoses first, just take the clamps off at least. So I'm going to get some, you can probably use normal needle nose, I'm going to use long needle nose, and get those hose clamps off there. But for the fasteners that hold this housing on, there's 3 bolts, and they require, you know, there's probably a metric equivalent that fits. My kit with Allen's I have only has standard, so a 1/4 inch fits right in there. Actually, no, it doesn't. A 1/4 inch does not. Let me go a bit smaller, see what else I got. All right, so I couldn't actually find a Allen that I had that fit, but I did find a Torx that fits. Now, you can use Torx to remove Allens. You can't use Allens to remove Torx, but for this particular fastener in here that holds this pipe on, a T40 works just fine. So I'm going to remove these hose clamps, like I said, and then remove the fasteners that hold this upper hose on. Now, as you can see, I got those 3 fasteners out. I can't remember if I told you, but there's one underneath right there also. That's why this little indentation is right here, so you can fit an extension in there. At least Nissan was thinking of you a little bit whenever they came up with that. Now, to break the seal loose, you might just be able to grab it and pull it. Sometimes that's not the case, and you might have to use a dead blow or something. I couldn't find my dead blow, so I have a rubber mallet, and I just hit the timing cover. But regardless, once you break that silicone seal loose, you're still going to have these hoses on here. So you can get a flathead under there, try to pop them off there. What I'm going to try to do, because I saw this done somewhere else, is I'm going to heat this up, and maybe this will come off easier. I got a heat gun, and I'm just going to try to apply heat around here. It might, never mind, that just came right off. So let's see if we can get this one off, and it's coming. There we go. So now this bit is off here. Let's go ahead and we can put our fasteners back into this, just set them inside the holes so we don't lose them, and set this aside. Next is going to be the thermostat housing. This looks like the same thing, so probably another T40 will do if you don't have the correct size like I didn't. This is probably a 12 millimeter, and there's another one underneath here. And same thing goes, you undo them and then just knock it loose with a dead blow or rubber mallet or whatever. Something that just won't mar or break this surface, and take it off there. Now those fasteners are removed, just gonna break this loose, and you gotta remember it's on studs too, so it's broken loose now. All right, we're about to have some coolant coming out. So I took the drain pan out so these nuts wouldn't fall into it and I wouldn't have to fish them out, but I'm gonna put this back under here because a bunch of coolant's about to start pouring out of this. Oh God, I almost slipped in coolant. Okay. That's about as good as we're getting right there. So we're going to, we could probably move this a little bit further over, right there. And we're just gonna hope it all falls into there, honestly. So grabbing this, walking it off there. You can see it leaking out the bottom. Oh my gosh, I wish this would just come out already. But there it is. Good Lord. I was kind of hoping the thermostat would come with it, but that's not what happened. So we'll set this aside now. We'll put the nuts back on the studs, and at this point we can probably actually put the bolt back in the hole because we got room to. Alright, so as you can see now the fasteners are back where they should be, so I don't lose them or misplace them with another fastener. And you can kind of look in here. That doesn't look good. But I'm curious as to how, I mean, of course I'm not going to rip the inside of this engine apart, probably. I mean, we'll see. If the valves are bent, I'll probably have to pull the heads off. I have a set of twin turbo heads that I can use. But we'll just have to see how this ends up going. Now, since I'm at the point that I actually need to do this now, I believe, to fully pull the timing cover off, I'm going to go ahead and find a bit that fits these Allens that hold on the cover to the throttle cables. The one that I just found that fits is that even a size? And it says S25. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what size it is, but it fits. So it might be a 5mm. I'm not sure, but we're going to remove these Allen heads and just pull this throttle cover off and start getting to removing the cover that the upper covers. Next, I'm going to remove the clip to the crank angle sensor, and as you can see, mine's way off. I already know that the crank angle sensor, the belt jumped it at one point, but I was able to get it back in time. But anyway, what I'm going to do here is pull this clip off the same exact way I did with the coolant sensor over there. So you just want to get a pick, pry this up, and get the clip, keep it from retaining against this bit right here, and pull the connector off. So there's a few spots here where there's holes, but no fasteners, and I'm thinking that somebody had this apart at one point and forgot to put fasteners back in, or just didn't bother to. I don't personally blame them. It's just a timing cover. But if you're taking this apart, you may have fasteners here. I also feel a hole right here where there's not a fastener. So there are fasteners that in yours probably that you're not going to see on mine. But what I'm going to do is, since you can see the passenger one is overlapping the driver one, the passenger one has to come off first. So this looks like the same, probably T40 maybe. Is that too big? I think the T40 may work on these. To remove these ones, there's a few Phillips. Like that one is a Phillips, and I think there's another Phillips on the back side of here. But you just want to remove all the fasteners that are holding this cover on, and remove it. And actually the 5mm, or that's what I assume this is, bit that I just used to remove the throttle cable cover works just fine on these, so you can use that and remove these, plus, like I said, the Phillips. Now I have both timing covers off, and I'm not saying that this is a definite yes or no because I don't have all the covers off. Oh my gosh, what is that? There's bearings inside of my, I think my tensioner scattered. I'll see if I can confirm that. There's too much tension to tell, but I think my tensioner scattered, and it's got its bearings laying inside the cover. But what I was saying was that if I count the teeth from this timing mark up on the cover, and I know that each one of these divots is 2 teeth, I can count across, and until we get to this mark is about 12 from this timing mark. And on this timing mark, going along the intake cam gear, it's about 14. So I think it may have jumped 2 teeth on this side. The crank angle sensor I still have on this side, so I'm not sure yet. I just have to remove these 1, 2, 3, and it should come off. But I guess I'm going to go ahead and remove the crank angle sensor. Alright, so last video you could see those bearings down there. I assumed it was the tensioner, but then I just took a second look and you can see right away that it is this. This right here scattered. Yeah, and something lost tension somewhere and jumped. So I am wondering where, you can see I have the crank angle sensor off. I haven't counted these yet actually. So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 seems to match up right here, but those are both intake. Not that it really matters. Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not right. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to guess that I actually missed right here and counted one more than I thought. And I think 14 is probably what it is. Again, I'm going to have to count these to be absolutely correct, but I don't even have a puller right now to pull this crank pulley off, or even the right socket. I think it's a 27. So this is just going to sit like this for a little bit, but yeah, that seems to be where a failure happened, is on this idler pulley. Yeah, this could have failed and threw bearings inside the timing cover, got caught in one of the belts, and then made it jump teeth. So we will have to actually see how bad it is. Again, I think this one jumped 2 teeth, and let's see if God, I don't know which way this engine turns when it's running. I'm guessing since 0, 30 is right here, I'm guessing that it actually turns clockwise. That would mean that this one is, the exhaust is about two teeth advanced, right? So yeah, this is a lot of fun realizing this. So this is actually a good lesson for everyone. Learn from my mistakes. Don't neglect your timing kit. This car is about 120,000 miles. No, it actually probably is about like 140. And I wasn't sure when the belt was replaced last. I could just see these holes in the timing cover, and I was like, it doesn't look bad. The belt really doesn't look bad, but as you can see, at some point, it could have been just the last time they had the belt changed, they neglected to replace the bearings, and maybe even the water pump, we don't know. But for now, we can definitely see this one was neglected. But we'll just have to see what comes of this whenever I get this pulley off and I'm able to count all the teeth. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know by leaving a like. That'd be awesome. If you guys are mad at me for neglecting my engine, let me know by commenting and telling me about it. That'd be great. I'd love to hear about that. But most of all, just let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching.